My next question.
All right,
We haven't got to the
so
chatter yet.
these are later life and reflection categories
Okay.
or category. So you can pick the one you want to talk about. The first one is, who has been your friend the longest, and how did you meet them?
I can answer that.
The other question is, and we can do both of these at some, or you can just do them both if you want. What are some of the most
Watch it,
important
doesn't
things
pour.
you've learned in life?
You'll end up with a whole bag if you're not careful.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
so I'll do them both.
Okay.
So my oldest friend has to be my high school friends, because when we moved from Holdridge, Nebraska to Alliance, Nebraska in the Sandhills, so I was in the 6th grade,
You need some help?
and I
I'll get you
had
another
these
dot.
friends that I'm still friend with, Marla
Who's all
and
on?
Helen and Kathy, and they still come visit me. And in the past few years, they've made a effort to come, and when they can see mom, and we can include mom,
Yeah.
and they'll just come for over a weekend. But those are my high school friends,
Wow.
and so that's one of the things. But I will tell you that from living so many places from coast to coast, when I got sick and the word kind of started spreading, I have received hundreds of cards, and when you add
That's
the
a
hundreds
low estimate.
of
Wow.
text and emails that I've received,
Yeah.
and these are from people that are just all over the country.
Yeah.
And so that has been really an overwhelming and humbling experience to have so many people contact me
Yeah.
with well wishes and encouragement, and how people will say, you're just doing this so well, and I when I was diagnosed, the one thing that I wanted was to do it well. And I knew I couldn't do it on my own. So I absolutely knew that the Lord needed to help me through this, because there isn't a day that isn't a struggle in some way or another. And so, and so that was that was really my only thing when Lee and I got this diagnosis and started kind of talking about it. And Lee said, we will take one day at a time. We won't Google and see all of the horrible things, or let Google set the time frame for how long I have. We just decided not to. And I think that's been very beneficial. So read me the question again about what I've learned.
What are some of the most important things you've learned in life?
So one of the most important things that's been a learning curve for me, and that is that I always, from the time I was little, and then definitely during my teenage years and then my adult years, I always had this extreme obligation to myself to do it as perfect as it could be. And that's a real detriment to a lot of things in life, because they're all along the way, I miss stuff. And I'll give you an example. Ann and I were talking about the other day, we were at the at this on the green, and the Sandhill Cranes came by with their 2 little babies. And later I said to Ann, oh my gosh, I didn't get a picture. And Ann said, she said, you should have told me. And in that example, it tells you that there's things I've missed because I was trying to do something better or make some situation better. And so I have definitely learned that perfection is way overrated, and having a house that is clean enough to live in is enough. And
She got used to that from me.
Well,
Queen.
I did learn that, you know, that it doesn't all have to be perfect. So, another life lesson that I've learned is that, well, I'm not quite sure how to say it. I'm just going to think about it for a minute.
Sure.
And this has also to do with probably where I'm at now. But and I was telling the boys earlier that from a young age, since I was 12 years old, or maybe I really think I must have been 8 or 9. My boys, meaning my brothers and I, went to the county fair one afternoon because in those days our parents let us my mom went to work and we just roamed. I mean, we had babysitters when we were a certain age, but this particular day we could go to the county fair, and it was really, really hot, and so the boys were my brothers, Mike and John. John probably wasn't with us. I think he was too little. And Mike and John, Steve and Mike, they were off shooting guns, you know, to win stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And there was this white trailer that had an air conditioner going, and it had a welcome sign on it. And so I walked in, and there was nobody inside, but there was this little video that is one of those that just is continual as its play.
Yeah.
And so I sat down because I was so hot. I just wanted to be in there. And that little video was the story of Jesus' life. And I was just all there by myself. And at the end of the video, they say, you know, do you want Jesus in your life? And I'm like, yes. There's nobody in there, but I wanted to do whatever they told me to do on there. And the reason that became a life lesson is because for a long time I didn't tell anybody, and it wasn't like churches like we go to today. When my parents took us to the Methodist church, we just went. We went to Sunday school. You know, they read you a Bible story, and you know, an hour later, you're on your way home. It was just different. And that became really a life lesson for me. But then I did learn later in my life a change in my belief structure, which I now believe that when you do that, when you make an acceptance, and I was telling Miles and Cole this, and Cole said, you know, when you accept to him, and I said, yeah, that's exactly right. So that happened then. But I didn't get baptized until later. I didn't get baptized by immersion. And one of the truths of the Bible, and you have to know the Bible in order to know what's true and what's false, because there's so many things that are false outside of the Bible that people don't even learn. But one of the things is they talk about a baptism, but it's by immersion. You know, they're taking them down to a lake or down to a river.
Yeah.
And so I really learned that as a life lesson. And Lee and I have both been baptized, and of course I'm thrilled that Cole shared with all of us, you know, that he's going to be baptized.
Yeah.
But having that, just that secure feeling about my eternal life is good for me, because right from the beginning of being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, I didn't have fear, and I don't. You know, I have sadness because I was doing something I absolutely loved at our church, and I have sadness that Lee and I didn't, you know, that I did a lot of things on my own for the ladies when I felt like, in retrospect, I should have been spending time with him. And that's not how we do life. You know, how we do life is we take each day as it comes, and you make a decision to either, you know, go golfing with Lee or go water walking with the girls. I mean, you just make decisions. And then sometimes you just realize that when you make one decision, when you're saying yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. And that life lesson I really learned through teaching in community Bible study, because you think about it. Let's say you're just you're on vacation, and you can either, you can either get up and go out to the restaurant and eat breakfast, or you can eat some fruit, and have some oatmeal in the Airbnb. But when you say yes to one thing, then you're saying no to something else. And I've really learned that as a valuable lesson to me, which it helps me give more emphasis. Thank you. Gives me more. I give more emphasis on thinking about yes and no's.
Yeah.
What I want to say yes to, and what
What are you saying no
and
to
what
at
am
the
I
same
saying no?
time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for every yes, you're and I would tell the ladies in our church when I was teaching some there, is that they do that all the time. They make that decision all the time. When you say yes, I'll do this, then you have to say no to something else. Yeah. So I guess that might be it.
It's great.
Yeah.